Okay. Okay, ladies, thank you for coming today. It's very exciting, and I'm a little nervous, and I don't know why. I said to the patients I'd actually rather cater for 60 people just eating than do this, but anyway, we're doing it, Kate. Well done. Thanks for joining us today. It's a little bit of a masterclass. I hope it's not too overwhelming for you. We've made it fun and quite concise, but there's lots of lovely things that you're going to listen to about and hear about. And I wanted to introduce Kate, who is she used to be the educator of Environ, but she still is my educator. And she is now my business consultant for Environ. And yeah, when she took over, my business grew exponentially because of all of her encouragement and knowledge. So I'm so grateful for her to be here today. If you need a wee, you all know where the toilet is here. When we're going to go through later for some lunch, I'll show you where the other toilet. I think most of you know where the loo is in my house, but it's next to the kitchen, and I'll tell you that. And without further ado, I'm going to hand Kate over. Kate's going to talk to you a little bit about anatomy of the skin. Because she's got children, she's made a really fun way of describing it. And she's also going to cover vitamin A, and then she's going to cover vitamin A and peptides, and I'm going to talk a little bit about treatments that we can do in salon and how we can incorporate all of that into your skincare. And over to you.
Okay, so like Emma said, I've got very small children. so you have to deal with my Lego skin today. I am going to break this down. I know this doesn't look like skin, but give me 2 minutes just to show you kind of the building blocks about the anatomy, because Emma and I just find that the better you understand what each part of your skin is doing, it then makes sense like why we keep harping on about the same few things. Okay. Are we all happy and good with the fact that your skin is divided into 2 layers, and you've got your dermis and then your epidermis rests on top of that? Look at all of you guys paying attention up until the trick. I'm very impressed. Okay. So the biggest thing about your dermal layer is where all of your nutrition and all of the support for your skin comes from, because it is the only layer of the skin that actually contains blood vessels and things like that. So everything that you eat, all the good stuff that you are doing is what is feeding your dermis, and these are the little yellow blocks in here. So it gets a blood supply, it gets oxygenated, and then through here it then sends everything into the epidermis. So one of the big things, like Emma was saying to me, she was like, oh, she's been feeling sick and run down from last week. What that will automatically mean is what has been fed through into her epidermis, why she might feel like look tighter, look grey, and things like that, is because that dermis has gone, ugh, this is horrible. Okay, in your epidermis you have 2 different kinds of cells. You have your collagen. Collagen is the thing that's going to make almost like a lattice work underneath. It's going to be almost the bridge that holds up your epidermis. And then you have elastin, this other blue color, which is going to give you the bounce in your skin, or like the snapback. So as we age, it makes sense that those deteriorate and we get less and less of them. And the unfortunate thing is that over the age of 30, every year you lose 1% of what you've got. So that's why we wake up at 45 and go, where did this go? Because for 15 years, it's been leaving. Okay, so everyone...
And the menopause kicks in.
Just like our ovaries, yes.
And then also just in terms, so everyone will lose 1% of collagen and elastin per year over 30. 1, it depends on what starting point did you start at. And 2, it also depends, like Emma was saying, about what do hormones dictate and what do your genetics dictate if it happens a little bit more rapidly for you. So we're good with the dermis, okay? He is the guy who decides how healthy the rest of our skin is. Yes? Very good, class.
Just not.
I do generally leave you alone if you're not. Okay, so so now we start in our epidermis, and I didn't. What what are you doing?
I put the heat on and not the cool.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel it.
Yeah. Sorry, I spent menopause and I got
Okay, so resting on top of your dermis is your epidermal cells, and majority of what is resting on top of your dermis is going to be your skin cells, or the fancy term is your keratinocytes. One of the most important things about your keratinocytes or your skin cells is you want them packed nice and tightly on your skin, because the closer they are together, the better they send messages. The better all the nutrition that comes from your dermis can spread throughout your skin, the tighter and more compact they are. So you really do want your skin packed like sardines. Okay, so everyone's happy with skin cells. They start and they're born just here by the dermis, and then they need to move up through the skin, and then they create a great protective layer on the top of the skin, which we'll get to now. Everyone good with that?
You got lots of sardines.
I do. I like sardines. I like them. Okay, also in the dermis, you are going to find your little melanocyte. And your melanocyte is what is going to make the pigment of your skin. So when we're born, it's genetically coded for the color of our skin. However, sunlight, environmental things like this blessed aircon, hormones, your diet, the environment that you live in, the activities that you do, stress, are all going to make it either produce the right amount or more, okay? So it should look like this. The problem is, bless my husband who doesn't know what sunscreen is. It's why he says, why are you introducing it on? Look at your face. So, the man loves soccer and he loves to surf, hates the sunscreen. So what has happened with his melanocytes? It's gotten bigger. So now he's like, what are these, love? What are these? It's because this has been overstimulated and an actual cell grows the more stimulated it gets. So that's why you'll often find that when pigment starts appearing on your skin, it's always in blobby little areas, because one of them or a few of them have gotten more activated, and so then you get that mottled look. Everyone happy with the melanocytes? You want him producing umbrellas because it's going to protect the DNA of all of your little skin cells. So making sure that all of your cells don't become cancerous. That's his job. His job is to make a little umbrella so that skin cells are protected from everything. But if we don't help with small things like sunscreen, later we'll talk vitamin A, then he gets bigger, then he malfunctions and gets very excited. We all good with this? Guys, you're doing very well!
That was very exciting.
Emma, how long has your husband been away for again? Okay, so do you remember I said to you that we want nice compacted sardines? When we don't have nice compacted sardines, then we start to have little gaps. And that's when we start to have a little bit of miscommunication and people are doing the wrong things. Your skin might feel tight, your skin might feel dry, you might feel like you want to be applying your moisturizer more and more and more. Is because we're starting to have little gaps because we don't have sardines, they're not communicating nicely, okay? Also then we get to the very top of our skin where we have our barrier, and Emma will have spoken to you about the barrier and sort of coming out of her ears and your ears. But the barrier is almost like the very rooftop of your skin, and it's the most important job that your skin cell does, is to create a strong barrier, because that barrier keeps all the nasties out and all the goodies in. But now when he goes missing, then all of a sudden we've got the wrong cells exposed, we've got too much product getting in, our skin starts to get irritated. When our skins get irritated, this is the last cell. Well done guys, you've managed very well.
I'm just concentrating because there might be a test later.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, so our barrier was impaired, we're now getting too many products in, and that's when the cell called your Langerhans cell really kicks in. Your Langerhans cell is all about the immunity of your skin, so I always talk about him as being both the policeman and the ambulance service in your skin. And so he starts, all these cells are getting excited, he goes, oh, beep-bop, 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 and he starts starts creating histamines and immune response, and you find that your skin is perpetually itchy, burning, tingling, you try new products like, oh my goodness, what is going on, and things like that, it's because he's been overly activated. And I hate to tell you, when he's overly activated, his very best friend is your melanocyte, and he activates your dermis. So your dermis and your melanocyte go into hyperdrive. When your dermis goes into hyperdrive, what happens? Aging accelerates. It goes, everybody out. And when your melanocyte is activated, too many umbrellas are made. So now we're aging, and we've got all of these umbrellas on our faces. Okay, everyone good so far?
Not yogurt.
Yeah. Okay, so now I feel like I won a prize because that was the entire thing that we spoke about, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm very pleased with myself. Okay, so the biggest thing when I look at the skin and you look at all the different cells, the reason why you will find everyone has finally caught up with Environ 52 years later is the reason we're a brand that's built on vitamin A, the reason that we perpetually talk to you about vitamin A, and not specifically retinol and not specific, just vitamin A as a
Umbrella.
as an umbrella term for that ingredient. The reason that we get so excited about it is, do you know that every single cell in your skin has a little vitamin A receptor? Every single cell has the ability to be changed by vitamin A, and so that's why it becomes the essential for how we're going to treat the skin. Is everyone happy with that? So what's amazing is vitamin A will start to make more collagen and elastin, even if you're over 30. Hallelujah. Your vitamin A will regulate your melanocyte to go, listen, just slow your roll, bud. We only need this many umbrellas. It changes this little hyperactive guy so that he goes back to like a, where am I going to put it? Let's put it over here. He becomes like a regular sized police force and army and things like that. He also then regulates how these cells are produced and making sure that that barrier is strong. All good? Yes?
Yeah.
Are you all on vitamin A is my starting question. So it would be that you're on VEGU or you're on enzyme. Can I be very cheeky and know who the enzyme people are? I just want to know who I love more.
Sequence.
Sequence. One. I love this. What am I on? Is it blue or orange?
Orange.
Orange. Benedict will get there. We'll get there. Okay, the biggest thing in terms of what is the difference between the original range and the enzyme range, they're both vitamin A based ranges. The difference with enzyme is how fast do you want to deliver that result. They have got more active doses in it. It does also have more antioxidant protection and more peptides, and we'll get to peptides now. So they're same, but one is a Ferrari. Okay, everyone have.
The original's the Toyota.
Yes, the Toyota of skincare.
So they're reliable.
Exactly.
The most chosen car of sale.
And affordable.
And most hijacked.
Yes. I hate to tell you, because the thing that pops in my mind, and I don't know how to turn this sentence around if I say it. Okay, so you understand the jobs of all of the cells. Tell me now.
You remind me of Kirsty Pope. Just your.
Oh yeah, she's lovely, right?
Tell her who she is.
She's our minister. She's a minister.
Well, now you get. Okay, so now we get the idea of all the cells in the skin, and it's very easy to understand if they all have little receptors for vitamin A, why vitamin A becomes essential in terms of how we treat everything. Over and above vitamin A, almost like the other pillar when you look at Environ is we'll always talk to you about skin tech. And one of the biggest reasons about why we talk about skin tech is when you're using vitamin A and your cells are like these nice little sardines, even the barrier that we spoke about becomes like a nice little sardine. So they're all locked tight, and you're going, that's amazing. But then you come to Emma, and you spend your hard-earned money on the cream, and your skin goes, we're tight. Okay. And one of the reasons is, so what you'll find is a skin that is unhealthy will absorb anywhere between only 0.2 to 0.8% of the active ingredients in your product. A healthy skin is willing to accept between 4 to 6%. So better, but like we all spend money, right? So how do we change how much product we can get in without disrupting anyone, without making more, you know what I mean, without making them irritated, without making more melanin and things like that? That's where things like your skin tech of either your gold roller or your cosmetic roller come in. What's amazing here is what they do is they make literally teeny tiny little driveways just through this very top layer that is literally only as thick as a piece of paper. So when you look at the needle length on there, you'll go like, what is this doing for who? All it needs to be able to do is make a tiny little driveway in a piece of paper. So that's why they have to be so short, so that they don't interfere with anything else. Because not that any of you are shopping anywhere else, but when people are going, oh, I got a nice long needle for you, immediately decline, please, because then you start fiddling in an area that your skin is going, and who's this, and what must we do? And everyone goes onto hyperdrive. So you need a very short needle, and just by including a roller into your routine, you increase the amount of product that is able to penetrate by up to 100 times. It means whatever you're using in your bathroom looks like, oh, it turns into a Ferrari, no matter which range you're on, because you've been able to deliver more of it into the skin. All good? Okay. Or you can go big or go home. And you can do our little DF mobile device. Our little DF mobile device is like the baby version of what Emma does your treatment with. But what's amazing is this baby device literally doesn't just make driveways into your skin, it makes driveways into every single cell. You are able to deliver 40 times more active ingredients into each individual cell rather than just bathing them in more and hoping they get a move on. Go big. Okay.
And how often, Kate?
So all of our devices should be something that you can happily use every day if you have the time for it. Yes, in your routine. And I have to personally say, I have 2 small children. They take up a lot of time. And so my routine now is my girls go and sit in the bath and I go and chat to them and I quickly do my rolling there. I must be honest, I've got a DF mobile. I probably use it only 3 times a week, and it's just because of time constraints and I haven't found a way to easily fit it in. But my roller, I mean, everyone in my household in the evening understands I'm walking after you, rolling my face, and you need 3 to 5 minutes of doing that to change what your product is. Like, it's the time investment is worth what you're getting out of your skincare. Okay.
With all the science and technology that goes behind developing these products,
Yes.
why is the take-up percentage still so low after 30 years? I mean, I use the product, I have done since before I knew Emma. But why is it just...
Because we can't change the skin anatomy. Your skin's job
But does
is
the
to
product
be...
change with all the analysis and the development?
So the products do change, and they've got ingredients that help deliver. But I'm going to be very cheeky when I say this, but when marketing comes after brands and they go, oh no, we can get this much more into your skin, I have seen some of the test results where we have tested in our factory and in our laboratory, and Dr. Zez was saying, you cannot outsmart the skin. I hate to tell you, as much product development as there's been, this has been around for a few millennia, and it's one up on us. And so, so they talk about enhanced delivery. Enhanced delivery is getting you to the full 6%. It isn't getting you anywhere
It's quite
further.
low, isn't it?
It is. Hence, we need to roller.
Okay, if you don't roll and use the DF, you would alternate. You don't do them both on the same.
You can one
If I do DF at home, when I do my DF, I definitely roll.
And then
with
still
the
do-
ingredients already in there,
Yeah.
and then I DF.
Okay.
In fact, I rarely DF without rolling. I do because I roll far more than I DF because it is a
How long do you do the DF for?
The DF
takes
is probably about 10 to 15
Oh,
minutes.
so it's kind of
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. It's
sometimes I just do on certain areas, you know, like my
Yes.
kind of my
Yes.
big areas are here, so sometimes I'll just do it there because it is a, you know, it's like chopping onions. It's one of those, you know, it has to be done. Although I've got Thermomix for that now. I don't know, it's like opening out a store when you can have it automated. It can be automated. That's what the DF is lovely, but it takes time.
Yes.
But I wouldn't want to live without it. I mean, like Kate said, I haven't been feeling well all last week and I felt like my skin's been looking shocking. But how did I change that? By rolling every day while I was sick. And I've done DF this week and I've been revival masking to make my skin look better because I've been feeling really bleh and, you know, when you start taking all those kind of cold medications, your skin just looks like it's tissue paper. And yeah, she said, how come you, what have you been doing? I was like, you're rolling revival mask, peel, that kind of thing. But ultimately I did DF and as soon as I did the DF, my skin
behaved.
Yeah, and it just looks all plump again. So, but yeah, it's, you know, I can't do it every day. It's like, you know, it's like going to Pilates, I can't do it every day. I've got to fit it into my schedule. So,
You would if you could though.
I probably going to be okay every day. That's because I'm not organised enough.
Where's that concealment? But the roller case makes little driveways and the DF goes a little deeper, almost like a laser version of.
Yeah, it actually what it does, and if I get really technical with you, like your skin, each cell is a closed system because if they were all open, when you were washing dishes or opening the domestos and things, all of that would go directly into your skin and we'd have chemical burns and stuff like that. But each cell is closed like this. What you do with your DF machine is you are able to vibrate and loosen those cell walls so that allows more product to get in.
Into that specific cell.
Yeah, into that specific cell. So I've got to say, like, I get that I don't use my DF mobile every day anymore. Rolling is a non-negotiable for me, but my DF mobile was glued to me when I was dealing with melasma after my kids because I looked like I was wearing heavy bronzer all the time. I was like, you will leave immediately. So yeah, and I watched that change so fast because I was able to get so much ingredients in to start changing what everyone did in there.
So do you put your product in before you use your roller?
No, so you're always going to cleanse tone. I want the skin to be clean, but you're going to roll on a dry skin.
Okay, and then?
And then put everything else. So you're making the driveway so the cars can go in.
Yeah. I rolled this morning and I cleansed. I did a double cleanse. I toned and then I rolled before I put my product on because I knew then my skin would be glowing today as well because as soon as I put in my dual filler,
Yeah, it all goes in and does its job.
What about sensitive skin? You know, like rosacea, doesn't want needles.
Yeah, so again,
I just
please don't hear me being cheeky, but I'm going to be cheeky.
Okay, please.
So, one of the things for me is our rosacea protocol that Dr. Fernandez actually spoke about with us at our masterclass a few weeks ago. Rosacea is nothing I'm ever afraid of because literally he has 100% success rate in treating it in about 1.5 to 2 months. 1.5 to 3 months. Thereafter, that skin, that barrier, everything is now, because vitamin A normalizes, it gets everyone to do their job correctly, then rolling doesn't become an issue. Rolling is also never going to be something that we're going to hand to you day one. Like day one, can your skin just be a well-behaved student, and then he can.
and also when you feel, I mean, if you feel that, I mean, this is an old one. Look how
But that's how short the needles need to be.
Do they wear out?
You have to, yeah, they do. But that's why the gold roller's better, because the gold roller, you know, it's just a bit, its needles are longer and there's more of them, so you can feel the difference. This is an old one of mine.
And I've got to say, I've been with the brand for 9 years. I'm about to buy my 3rd gold roller because they generally do last 2.5, 3 years easily. It's one of the reasons why I didn't do a cosmetic roller, just because a cosmetic roller only lasts 6, maximum 9 months. So, also my gold roller, I'm not gonna lie, 1 looks lovely next to my basin, 2 gives me absolute guilt, so I do it. Okay, everyone good with all of those? Okay. So, I've just been picked up and then I'm leaving.
Can I just quickly tell you, so I just wanted to say that I read this in a Des Fernandez book once, and I love this conversation that he says that vitamin A has with your skin. So I said to Kate, I felt she hasn't covered it, I'm going to cover it. So as Kate said, vitamin A is the most important cell messenger in the skin, and here are some of the messages it says to a cell. It's time to divide and replicate. Do this very precisely and do it very accurately. Make more good skin, behave normally, get the colour, the size and the function right before you divide. Fix that bit of broken DNA. Kill that bacteria, virus or fungus. Make sure you replicate this dying cell next to you with an exact copy of yourself. It's time to die and let a younger cell take your place. If you are not healthy, do not replicate. Those are quite impressive messages. For me, fix that bit of broken DNA is the most powerful, because when your DNA is damaged from UVA light that we're all exposed to here, and you have got more and more abnormal things appearing on your skin, that is lack of vitamin A, and it also is why people end up with lots of different, you know, things on their skin like fibromas or anything that you weren't born with that's abnormal. Vitamin A can fix it. So, I mean, it can't, if you have a lot of skin tags, for instance, which is an abnormality, you can't, if vitamin A isn't going to fix, you're going to have them removed, but the chances are they will not replicate. Okay, that's all I want to say.
And then I'm going to talk about one more thing, and that's just the importance for me in terms of almost fast tracking your results with an ingredient called peptides. So peptides, there's lots of different peptides, and they all do different things, because the function of a peptide is, unlike vitamin A, which every cell has a receptor for, peptides work like a lock and key system. So peptides have one job and one target cell. So what that means is you get maximum dosage of your product through the skin and maximum effect on those cells. So you find that you can accelerate the results that you want on your skin with something like peptides, because they are only talking about one thing instead of vitamin A that's going around and fixing everything. But then, sorry,
I know I said I wouldn't interrupt. But going back to the question that Lizzie asked, that's something that has evolved hugely in Environ. The original range does not have peptides in, but all of the Youth Plus range and the Focus ranges have a lot of peptides, because that's been one of the biggest, probably game changers really in the last maybe 10 years for Environ, is introducing more products with more peptides.
Yeah.
And
So,
a lot of people don't know a lot about them, so I'm going back to you. Thank you.
So, Lizzie, you were talking about like why have things not evolved, and I was saying to you they haven't evolved in terms of how much you can get into the skin. But like Emma's saying, the ingredients have changed. So instead of having an all-in-one solution like vitamin A is, please don't miss that this is still essential, because it is regulating and normalizing and things like that. You do have peptides that work like lock and keys, and then they work really well together. Because the vitamin A is taking care of the general health, and then your peptide comes, and your peptide goes, what was that one problem that you were determined to fix? Let's accelerate how fast we can do that, because that's all I'm going to do in your skin. That's my only job. And so there, my true building blocks are probably going to be for that whole dermis, collagen, elastin, the whole, like I said, where all the health of your skin is coming from would be something like your Advanced Elixir or your Advanced Moisturizer. And the reason being is these peptides only speak to the collagen and elastin. So what's beautiful is that when you put vitamin A on your skin, this guy takes a little bit, this guy takes a little bit, this guy takes a little bit, and a little bit for down here in the dermis. These guys are like they've got those little horse blinkers on, and they walk past all these guys because their lock and key system only works in the dermis. So they're a product that I recommend anyone who's concerned about aging, lines, wrinkles, sun damage, sagging, anything like that, to incorporate these into your routine, because they are going to rebuild that structure and that health, and how that then communicates into your epidermis for the rest of the skin. So
those two products got the most peptides.
Yeah.
Sorry, but the others, some of the other ranges have a bit.
Yes, well, the
percentage or different types or.
yeah. So for like the Syrians, which came out a couple of years ago, you were going to cover that. So the Syrians has different types of peptides in it too, but are more to do with your stress response of your skin. So if you're going through a stressful time and your cortisol levels are going up in your skin, so this is kind of the Botox of the peptides, and it's more to do with environmental and intrinsic kind of stress. That, because I mean, if you look at someone who has had a very unstressful
Sorry, Emma. I lost my coffees.
oh no, okay, no worries, come through, take a seat.
Thanks. Haven't had my coffees last night, so
There we go, take a seat.
thanks.
So you've missed a bit of it, a lot of it, but it's okay, you'll catch up.
we'll send a video.
So for instance, somebody that has, you know, quite a young person that goes off to war, if they go to war for 4 years and they come home, the chances are they probably look 15 years older than they were. That's all stress related and all stuff that's happened intrinsically. So that's where those peptides, because it would stop the stress response of your cortisol level and that kind of thing. So there's a lot of different products. Also, the Revival Mask also. Anyway, carry on.
Okay, what is a peptide?
So a peptide is actually a short amino chain, and those amino chains are used as a signal, like a signaling system to the cell to change what it does and how it does it. So the Advanced Elixir and Advanced Moisturizer's message would be, you are no longer 45, you are 25, act like it. And so then getting that skin to function. Immediately, yes. Whereas, like Emma was saying, so the peptides in your Syrians, remember we were saying that you lose 1% of your collagen and elastin over 30, but things like environment, genetics, hormones will speed it up. Women who are going through perimenopause, something like Syrians, amazing because of hot flushes and things like that. I had a stylist who lost her husband and her skin went haywire. She started putting Syrians on and everything just started behaving because this peptide is dealing with how does that internal stress affect how your skin responds. And then the last peptide I wanted to talk to you about is our 3D filler cream. This really is just like this is how you turn a raisin into a grape, quickly. So what's great is your Advanced Elixir and your Advanced Moisturizer are making that structure. This is putting that fullness back into the skin. And I mean, the thing that blows me away about this is Dr. Fernandez is one of the top 6 plastic surgeons in the world. And so he does injectables. He's in the world of Botox and filler and things like that. And so bringing this to market took him a long time because he said one of the biggest things about fillers to look more natural is they need to be a combination of both water fullness and fat fullness. If you think about a baby's cheeks, it's like juicy, but that's because there's a nice amount of tissue in there as well as water. And so this product is unbelievably revolutionary in that it is competing or working along with fillers because it is going to rebuild both a fat deposit and a water fullness to the skin.
Sorry, can I ask a question?
Yes.
Because in the holidays, right?
In the olden days, yes.
You wash your face,
Yes.
you tone, and you moisturize.
Yes.
What I'm finding confusing is there's still those same three things.
Yes.
But what comes on at what stage now? Because now we're putting in our moisturizers, now we've got this and we've got that, and I just don't know at what point.
What am I doing all of this?
Yeah, and what comes first and what comes last.
Okay. So cleansing and toning are always, even since the olden days, cleansing and toning is going to remain your first two steps. Serums are going to be always what you put underneath a moisturizer. Serums are generally a smaller molecule size and more active than a moisturizer. So they generally work anything from 8 to 16 times better than a moisturizer because just more of it can get in. And their job is to target and change, and then you'll put your moisturizer over and always sunscreen on top.
So where would that fit in?
Where would?
Yeah.
So can I sorry guys, as you saw with the Lego, I like visuals. Which cleanser do you use?
This one.
A cleanser?
Sorry, no, sorry.
Do you use a gel or a cream?
No, sorry, I don't use the cleansers. I just use the toners. And
So is it this toner?
yeah, that
Okay.
one, and then the filler. Also, all the purple ones.
Okay.
Remember
So
the
I'm
purple
gonna
one.
do filler. Do you remember anything else? No? I'm just gonna make you a routine here.
Okay. I can't remember. They're all actually just throw them in the bin.
Okay. So the rule is always going to be you're going to cleanse, you're going to tone. No, we're not going to roll with that. We're going to roll with this. Then you're going to roll, okay? Because you want to make the driveways for all of your active ingredients. And then you're always going to do serum. Can I tell you what's great about serums? It doesn't really matter which order you put them in. So if you were to do this by accident, if you were to do this by accident, really not the end of the world because all serums are pretty lightweight and so they're not impacting how anything gets into your skin. Also, the minute you start rolling, because you've made the driveway, layering of product becomes far less like rigid because you've already made a way for everything to get in. So you don't have to worry about this getting stuck on top of this or anything like that.
So there's no benefit to, I mean, there's no, like, one night putting your one serum and then the next night doing another doesn't really make a difference. You can just bomb. It's not wasteful to put two serums together.
Yeah, the minute for me that you've got something like Skin Tech, just allow more in.
Okay, so it
Then
doesn't.
yes, I'd like 100%. I mean, I don't want to tell you everything I use because you're just going to think that it's bloody bananas. But like, so I've got a little bit of a morning routine because I'm in the sun so much. So there's lots more of things like the Melafade serum and the Mela Even cream just to help with protection in terms of sun exposure and stuff like that. And then at night, I have got Advanced Elixir, 3D filler, and then my retinol into my Sequence 4 and Sequence cream. All of that goes on, and all of that works because it's been able to all just get in. The minute, what worries me is, I'm going to be very cheeky about other brands. What worries me is like I've gone in stores and I speak to people and they have got like a Korean 10-step beauty bonanza going on, and I'm just like, you look like a glazed donut because everything's just sitting on top like Cremora. So I look great when I go to bed, but it doesn't ever feel like this is on my face because it's all gone in. So yeah, so there there isn't an end point, but there is a what will you do and what can you manage? Because also that's one of the things, everyone goes, oh no, I want this and this and this. And I was like, great, are you going to put them all on, or are they just going to sit in your cabinet going, does she see us? so yeah, does that answer the question?
Good.
Yes.
So would you be able to then put them all, sort of just line them up and say, okay, fine, for this next step, that's what you need, from start to finish.
Yes, but then you're going to complain to me that I'm taking yours original and I'm putting on answer.
No, I mean, Emma will know what I'm on. Just, yeah, the whole process. Because I had fibroblast,
Okay.
and that's what worries me, just the
You had Fraxel. No, fibroblast, what do you mean?
fibroblast, there's little,
Like the little birds?
yeah, burns, it was really bad.
Okay,
It
so
was
you have
burns.
plasma? Yeah. Okay, so it looks like little, like tiny little spots that go brown. You're very
It
red.
looks like I fell on my face,
Yes.
like a roasty.
Oh, yes, like a roasty. That's a perfect description. Yes. Okay, so you had the roasty treatment, yeah?
Yes.
I'm just trying to dissuade
And
you.
so then and then it's just that, then after that, it's a scar treatment, and then the cream. So it's like, what do you put on first? What do you put on last? I put the scar treatment on now, I put something over that, now I've rubbed everything all over my face, and so, is it still doing what it's supposed to be doing? No, that-
Is the scar treatment from us?
Mm-mm. Sorry.
So one, you're
I didn't know
cheating.
you had.
So can I tell you, if you are ever worried about which layer to put things on, one, I mean, what one of my stockists does is she's got little stickers, and before you leave, it gets a 1 or a 2 or a 3 or a 4 or a 5 stuck on it. Or otherwise, what we've got today is I've got the recommendation sheets, and we can take what are you using and tell you in the morning use it like this, and in the evening use it like this, and we can write it down and you can laminate it.
But for me, I normally say to people, remember, water goes on before oil. So a toner is generally a watery substance. You tone before you put anything on. You then put a water serum on. So anything that's water-based, anything that's a gel, always put that on first. Put your moisturiser on before an oil. Anything that's oily, the more oily it is, the last you should put it on. And for instance, I used this morning, I cleansed, toned, I rolled, I then put my Alexa serum on because it's water-based. So I put that on first. I then put my jewel filler on because I wanted to look plump today. So I put that on, and then I put my vitamin A serum on because I wanted my jewel filler that had the peptides on to get into my skin straight after the Alexa, and then I put my moisturiser on, then my sunscreen.
And generally, if you're looking, I know it sounds silly, but generally if you're looking with Environ, the things that we call essentials, so the original range or the Einstein range, are going to be the first and the last things that you put on. Your focus care range is generally going to be serums and things that you're going to put
In the middle.
in between, because they're more targeted to a specific problem or concern. And just like Emma was saying, if I just show you, that's Advanced Elixir, so it looks really like water in comparison to 3D filler. Both serums, but this one's got a far more creamy looking consistency. So when Emma's saying to you, do water then cream, that's what they look like.
And would you put the one in the morning and the one in the evening, or not?
You could do both these both days.
Yeah, you can do everything all the time. It really depends on what is your budget and what is your desired result. So I have a friend of mine and I've transformed her skin, and all she does is cleanse, tone, sequence, sunscreen. At night, cleanse, tone, sequence. All she does. Like, no, nothing else. But she said to me, I want you to give me something super active but with the least steps. And that's what I know I can deliver in sequence. Whereas I like skincare. I want to do more. So my morning routine looks different to my evening routine. They could all be used together.
Okay, but those two that you just held up,
Yes.
would it be beneficial? Is the one more beneficial during the day than at night?
At night is always the holy grail. because generally people take a lot more care at night, and also your whole body is regenerating at night. So if you're going to do it day or night, I would probably recommend it, most of those active peptides at night. However, the dual filler gives you, because it's got the hyaluronic acid in, but it also, the hyaluronic acid makes your skin look immediately, for me it makes my skin look immediately plump, which is why I use it during the day, but it has a peptide that stimulates your own hyaluronic acid. So it can be used at night too, because you want that too. But I use my dual filler generally during the day, because I use my Syrians at night, because normally at night I'm stressed.
Have we answered your question, or did we leave you in the desert? Are you sure?
Will you remember that? Because I'm not going to remember it.
Can I ask a question on top of that? Can you use the filler on your workshop days when you have to give speech only, or does it have to? Is it something that needs time to activate the skin?
I mean, I feel like you put it on and instantly you can see a difference.
But
You can use
it does have a build-up. I mean, when he first released it, Des Fernandez said he truly believes that if a woman starts using dual filler on her face in her late 20s, early 30s, she will not have lip lines at all.
So every
I
single
mean, I
day.
started using it at 49, so, you know, it's a bit late. But as soon as it came out, I was like, oh my God, I need this. Because for me, it's turning back the clock every single day without having to know I'm going to have to do that stuff later, because I'm going to be aging generally naturally. And it's going to be building. I use it every day to make me look good instantly, but I know because I use it constantly, it's having a build-up. It's like constantly building inside. So it's yes and no. It has an instant effect.
Yeah, it does have an instant thing, but like Emma's saying, I've got an oily skin. I generally, other than in winter, can't use 3D filler throughout the summer. But I keep using it just at night, and I can see the difference in my skin just from using it at night. Like I was like, oh, do I really? But again, because a peptide has the ability to instruct a cell to do more, it is giving you that juicy hyaluronic acid, and your skin naturally starts making more and more and more. So yeah, it's an instant pick-me-up, but for the best result is going to be something in your routine all the time.
And rollers, maybe a really silly question, but do you do rollers in the morning and in the evening?
You can do.
What are you supposed to do?
At night,
At night.
ideally.
Yeah. At night only because
But that's why I say
in
that
the
you do
day.
Pilates twice a day.
Yeah.
Not many people would except Tam, but you can. It's because I know she does Pilates too. I'm giving her.
I just don't want it, I don't have to do it.
No.
I'm not doing it at all.
Therapeutic. So my thing, you change me, whatever.
If you, at the end of the day, even when people first buy a roller and they ask me, I tell them to start using it 3 times a week, because you're going to go from 4 to 6% to 100% every day, and you don't suddenly want a vitamin A reaction, because now you're going to have all that extra messengers heading into your skin. So I tell people to start slow, and then you can build up. When I'm coming to something like this, or an event, or I've got something coming up, I roll like crazy, and I roll morning and night. But when I'm on normal life, I might roll 4 times a week. So you can roll once your skin is vitamin A efficient and it doesn't bother about the amount of vitamin A that you're using. I mean, I've even been using retinol a week during the day, and then normally tell people use it only at night, but my skin's been a bit, because I've been feeling sick, so I've been retinoling and just trying to feed it more, because I know it will look good afterwards, and luckily she told me my skin looked good, then I know.
But also, Benedict, it's one of those small things. I'm not being funny, but I think whenever you speak to a therapist about what are we doing and can you do that, we're always doing more, because Emma doesn't have an Emma. Kate doesn't have a Kate to go to. So if you guys were going to an event, you would have booked in an appointment and Emma would have sorted out your skin and you would still be rolling at night 3 to 4 times a week and high-fiving yourself as you do it, which is perfect. I think always remember that a therapist's opinion on skincare is going to be slightly skewed because we don't generally have a therapist. This is it. So, okay.
Well, coming forward in treatments, you're getting all of it, and yeah. So, like she said, I have to do it myself.
You must feel very sorry for me.
Okay.
I can mind that.
Okay, great. So, so for me, one of the things I wanted to cover, I'm going to be covering in treatment things that we do in salon, and when I was asked, I was going to do a education event a couple of weeks ago, and I postponed it because I was invited to the masterclass with Des Fernandez, and I've met him quite a few times, and I was like, I wonder what he's going to talk about peeling this time, because I've done so many peel trainings, and everyone who knows me knows I'm all about peeling, and I make sure most of my clients do it during winter. But it was so amazing because he almost had a different spin on treating skin a lot more gently with peeling than more aggressively. And he started off by talking to us about why it's far more useful for our clients to have more peels than more aggressive treatments because it's cheaper, which is so true. And as he is a plastic surgeon, he said he's been in the industry for, what did he say, started off, he used to work with Chris Barnard, he started off as a heart surgeon, and he went into plastic surgery later. And the reason why he started Environ was because he wanted to help people, a client of his died of melanoma. So he's got so much knowledge, and like he said, he was in around the years when they were doing phenol peels on skin, where you're putting people under anesthesia, you're putting phenol on their skin, you're peeling them. And sometimes I've had clients that come in, and they'll say to me, gosh, I had this hectic peel years ago, and I was put under, and they did this peel, and my skin looked amazing, and then I look at them and I'm like, really? And I can't see that they did that, because it's been 20 years later, and that's what he was explaining to us at the masterclass, is that basically what happens when you do aggressive treatments, even like Fraxel laser, all these hectic treatments that cause a lot of aggro and a lot of pain to the skin as well, are actually a lot of the time killing your skin cells, and they are causing destruction. So what your skin does is it produces scar tissue underneath your skin, and so straight afterwards your skin does look a lot plumper and a lot better, and people go, oh my god, I've just had this done, and they're so proud of their skin. But what happens is the health of the skin deteriorates because there's so much scar tissue under the skin, and your epidermis is so thin that later on the skin looks very lax and unhealthy and like tissue paper, and your scar tissue underneath is not the right type of collagen because it's created temporary collagen, not permanent collagen. So this was for me a groundbreaker, because he said he is lucky enough to see all those clients that had all those things done years ago, because he's worked with so many different plastic surgeons and dermatologists around the world. And he went on to talk to us about, we talked about medical needling, but I've been doing it for a couple of years now, and peeling. And the biggest takeaway for me at this event was about peeling, because we have 5 different types of peels that we can do in Environ. Most of the time in the winter, I tend to only do the TCA peels, the cream and the gel, because they are the most anti-aging. And they, do you mind if I turn the aircon off a bit?
No, I just need the video to stop following me and following you.
So he talked to us about peel, and he touched on it when I went down to Cape Town with Environ last year as well, about changing you know, most of you who have been coming to me for a few years know that I would generally do peeling once a month during winter. Last year I changed it to once a week because he's changed it to once a week, and the reason why he does this is because he sees better and better results, and that there's constant research going on. And he recommends doing peeling once a week for 6 weeks, for instance, in the winter. And one of the biggest reasons is because when we peel our skins with TCA acid, when we peel our skin, it doesn't destroy your skin cells. What it does is it stresses them out. So it stresses them out, and everyone starts, you know, it's like when my husband comes home and he goes, have you locked the garage? Have you done this? Have you done that? Have you done this? Okay, and I'm like, just had a very stressful day and now he's stressing me out. That's exactly what a peel does. It basically penetrates into the skin, and it starts, your skin then starts producing growth factors. And growth factors are kind of proteins that then stimulate your skin to produce more and more collagen, elastin, hyaluronic acid. So it's the structure of the skin. And these growth factors, the specific growth factor that this peel produces is called EGC.
TGF-beta-3,
There you go, okay.
but you know.
Okay. So when it's produced in the skin, it only lasts in the skin for 7 to 10 days. And so if we do a peel every month, once we do the next peel, we've got no growth factors in the skin. Whereas if we do a peel every 7 days, we have growth factors already in the skin. Then we do another peel. And what happens is, for anyone who has, I know there's a couple of people here that have had a couple of weekly peels, your skin doesn't get irritated or sensitive. It actually becomes more desensitized. And the reason being is because as you have more peels, say for instance you're on day 7 and you have another peel, and then day 14, day 21, by 21, your growth factors are so high in the skin that your skin is already capable of having the peel far more regularly, and there's a lot less downtime, and the results over 6 weeks are far better because of the build-up of growth factors, because you will have a better result with more collagen elastin production. So to have a far shorter treatment time in winter is far beneficial. And the other thing that peels do, as our Environ peels do, is that they aren't aggressive at all. They're very comfortable. It feels like you're having a facial. I mean, I think, who hasn't had a peel here? Great, I'm doing my team so well. But there aren't a lot of people who, the only people that I've ever had that are very sensitive to a peel are people with a sensitive skin. And generally, I will wait about a month to treat them. But even so, even using our lowest form of TCA, which is 2.5%, doesn't stress people out. So the only thing it does is stress the skin out. So one of my main takeaways from my masterclass with Des was that having every winter a course of peels, 6 courses of peels, is far better and far cheaper in the long term than having a 3,000 rand per session Fraxel laser. And I mean, that's just one session. And often people sign up for 15,000 rands worth of laser, and in 20 years' time, your skin is going to be far worse than it was before you started. Whereas with peeling, it's going to look better and better. I wanted to show you at this one stage some before and after pictures. I have put some case studies there which you can have a look through later. But these were some of the pictures that we were shown at the event. And let me just put the glasses on here. The results are phenomenal. And of course, cool peels aren't just for anti-aging. I think most of us here are number one. Who's most anti-aging? Anyone acne a problem? No. Anyone aging generally? We all are. So peels are used for sensitive skin. They're used for acne, and they're also used for anti-aging. But I wanted to show you. This is just for acne. Okay. This is 5 months after 5% cool peels done every 2 to 4 weeks. And a lot of my clients who have got acne don't want to wait for the results. They want, you know, it's easier to, you know, go to the doctor and maybe get something that they're going to take intrinsically. But once you've done that, you're going to still have scarring and that kind of thing. Whereas with the peels, you can see with this guy, his skin is already repairing. And that's just after 5 months. Okay, the next one is rosacea. This is rosacea before every 3 weeks for 8 months. And that's obviously they're on vitamin A, but they've had rosacea. And I mean, how many people do you know with a skin like that? Okay, and the next one is precancerous lesions. And this lady was in her 80s, hey?
Yeah, she was actually in her
90s.
when they treated her, lived to the
And
ripe old age of
most
104.
clients, I mean, I've got 80-year-old clients who come here and they say, you can't do anything. I said, I can. Trust me, I can. So that's what, I mean, I've had clients come in, not specifically looking specifically, they'll have maybe a few lesions on there and we'll treat just their nose. And then once that's healed, then we'll peel the whole face. I mean, I've had clients coming to me with these kind of lesions telling me that they've got acne. And it's not acne, it's precancerous sun damage. And we've fixed them and then we start fixing the rest of the skin. And I've had clients come in with, I think that was the last one. Oh, there's one more. This is after a series of cool peels in 4 months, and she had an eyelid operation with him. But she came to him wanting an eyelid operation, but he said to her, what about your skin? Just pass it around.
You know, so you say to do the concise peels, and then over like 6 weeks, whatever, and then the growth factor builds up. But then what happens if you're just doing them over winter, or you're just saying do them in winter? But then what happens for like
Well, the rest of the time you can do other treatments, that kind of, you know, at the end of the day, it's always ideal if you come in for regular treatments, but if you can't come in for regular treatments, to do a course in winter is your most beneficial. Everybody that comes in for regular treatments knows that I'll throw a peel in every now and again anyway, especially if I feel the skin needs it. But in winter, that's the best thing you can do. If you want to, you know, for some clients who have come into me and we've done a couple of courses of peels and they really want to go up to the next level of they're worried about the laxity of their skin and they haven't been having major treatments in their life, then I'll suggest something like medical needling, which is the next thing I was going to come up on. But before I do that, I just wanted to say another thing. Apart from things like Fraxel laser and heavy peels, a lot of clients also, I mean, you've all got parents as well and family who end up with those kind of precancerous lesions. I get a lot of clients sent to me by doctors because clients after using Effudex, do you all know what Effudex is or Aldera? It's, luckily you don't then, because it's a chemotherapy for the skin. And what it does is it eats away at your skin cells. And if you've had a precancerous lesion, a doctor will often give you Effudex to put on. And I've had a lot of clients come to me who've been Effudexing for 10 years. And now their skin is so pale, so thin, that it's like tissue paper because now they don't repair, it just destroys the skin. And your skin does eventually repair itself, but very slowly. And it becomes very tired and very unhealthy. And luckily, you know, the Longmores know me, and they've often sent clients to me, go see Emma, she can fix your skin. And how do we fix it generally? Vitamin A and peeling. Legs, arms, and then the skin becomes healthier. And then if some of those precancerous lesions, which are really hard to kill, are still there, then Effudex again. Then your skin has the ability and the vitamin A inside it and the growth factors to repair with the Effudex afterwards or have it cut out at the end of the day. But then you have less chance of that skin cancer proliferating into something more sinister. But yes, going back onto other treatments, I started medical needling about 2 years ago, and I was already doing dermapen. I think a lot of you know dermapen, and I've been dermapenning for years and seeing great results with it. And then Kate came to me and said, "Why don't you start medical needling?" And I was like, "Oh, it's quite a lot, you know, because it's a big treatment." So, and I use Environment's protocol. It's pretty much an hour and a half, 2 hour treatment. We use LED first. We then anaesthetize the skin. We then use medical needling. And I didn't understand at the time why medical needling was so. Where is it?
Straight.
There we go. Why medical needling was so much better than dermapen. And since I still offer both because I still have my dermapen. But when a client comes into me and says, "I'd like to, do some needling," so I sit down and I talk to them about what's the difference between medical needling and dermapen. Both of them are induced injuries into the skin using. I'm going to let you feel this. It is quite pokey, so just be careful. Yeah, so obviously you can understand why you need an anaesthetic. It's quite deep. It's obviously a medical procedure, but the difference between that and a dermapen is this produces more growth factors in the skin again. Because of the way that the roller enters the skin, there's also a lot less trauma, and it's also very controlled depth. Whereas the dermapen is a very small needle device, and you don't get as much consistency of depth. And I found that when I first started this, and I was doing it every week, the skin repairs. The first time, your skin takes a long time to heal because you obviously have just traumatized the skin, but after your second treatment, the skin is already feeling probably 100 times better in 36 hours. First time it might take 48 hours to kind of go back to normal. By the time you've had your 6th treatment, your skin has recovered. Probably, if you have it in the morning, it's already feeling better by the evening because of that lifting growth factors. And the difference between a peel and the medical needling is obviously you're producing a lot more collagen and elastin with your medical needling. And your roller itself, you obviously have to purchase as an Environ client, and we can get at least 6 treatments out of this. And often what I've done is I keep your roller, and then if the roller is still in quite good condition and it's still quite sharp, then we can do specific areas. If someone's worried about lips or someone's worried about nasal labial lines, we can just do certain areas afterwards, a couple of treatments of those. But when we do the medical needling, straight after medical needling, we actually put a peel on top of that. And we're only doing that for 2 different reasons. One is it's very antibacterial and anti-inflammatory, and the second is to produce even more growth factors. When you're injuring your skin, like when you cut yourself, growth factors are produced anyway. But we're producing growth factors by needling, and then we're putting a peel on top, so we get so much more stimulation of the growth factors. And then after doing all of that, we then have a Environ DF mask put on top of that. So it is a very comprehensive treatment, but if a client comes into me and they're even considering surgery, so much more less invasive to have a treatment like this over 6 weeks in winter, and it will treat your pigmentation, it will treat anti-aging, it will treat lax skin. Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
And for me, I've done these to myself. That is something that's I need a medal for, because doing this to yourself is, something. But for me, I know it's keeping just everything at bay, really, for longevity and my skin looking healthy, happy, and graceful without, that. So yes, so the my big takeaway that I wanted to pass on was aggressive treatments, which a lot of people are often, I think, coaxed into because some of their friends are doing it, aren't necessarily what everyone's looking for, because what happens to your skin 20 years later after aggressive treatment? So the difference with Environ is if you just keep at it like going to the gym, like eating healthy, you'll see the results later on when you're not going to get a shock in your 70s, 80s, 90s, because your skin's going to be healthy and happy for forever. So that was my little saying. And let me just get my image.
Can I tell you what I believe Emma is doing for you? So one of the small things that I'm often asked is, what is the difference between a course of peels and a course of medical needling? I almost want to say to you that when you do medical needling, because it is just so much more intensive, it's almost like one medical needling equals 2 or 3 peels. So it's almost like you just get to fast track thing. And just when I was listening to Des, he was just saying, this person I needled because they wanted a bigger result more quickly, and so that's probably what, because they're working on the same concept of making more growth factors and instructing that skin better. Medical needling just does more of it. So Emma is offering for the medical needling, they book 6 medical needlings, and you will get a free full-size advanced elixir valued at 1,720 Rand. And again, that's the peptides we spoke about working on collagen and elastin, and the treatment that is going to stimulate collagen and elastin, so your result is just that much better. For the course of peels, it's book 5. I'm looking because in case I get it all wrong. Book 5 peels and get your 6th peel for free. If you're going to do body peels, which, wow, as I age, I see more and more need for. I definitely have a driving arm and a non-driving arm. If you book 3 arm or leg peels, then you get a free discovery kit, which is a little travel size Dermalac lotion and a travel size vitamin ACE oil. I'm panicking that I've forgotten something. Oh, and then it is 20% off all devices. So that is your rollers and your DF mobile, and then you're very lucky, you get 15% off any other product. So it's time to put some peptides in place. Okay. So anything?
No.
Oh,
That's everything. Yeah, so 15% off retail price for today, and 20% off any devices. And then if you book a course of 6 peels, you get the last one for free, which is a saving of 600, and a free elixir peptides if you book a course of medical needling.
What, was that 1 week? Is it 1 week you have? The medical needling?
1 a week, yeah. 1 a week or 1 every 10 days. You have to do it before 10 days.
Okay.
It's because, it's like you don't have to, but
It's,
if you're spending that time and that money, you're silly not to. Because it makes sense. It's far more beneficial.
And how often would you suggest the medical needling?
Well, if you have time and money, once a year. If you don't, once every 3 years, and do peels in between.
because the amazing thing about needling is Dr. Des says that after a course of 6 needlings, your skin continues to improve for the next 6 to 9 months. So he said like your skin looks great during the course and just after, but actually you will find it gets better and better over the next 6 to 9 months. So that's why yearly is the gold standard, but yeah, every 2 to 3 years.
Once a year for 6 weeks.
Once a year for 6 weeks. I'm not even asking for that much.
Okay.
That was a great presentation.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
so much.
And we do have a light lunch for you ladies. So we can take the questions and anything else through if you like, because I know some of you are on a time schedule. Who's on a time schedule?
Yeah.
I know Vanessa is. So should we go through and then any other questions, and if anybody wants to buy, as you leave or whatever, we can come back through and do that. Okay. Did everyone find it super interesting? Yeah? All make sense?
Very, very
It's
good.
lovely to keep up with the latest skin technology as well.
But also for me, it's lovely to know that I'm working with a skincare brand that is all about longevity. And, you know, I mean, how long have you been using Environ, Colleen?
When these first started, so
32 years.
Yeah.
I've been using it about just over 20 years.
So it's, for me, it's all about longevity. And when you look at his skin, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you ask him how old he is,
is.
82.
Mm.
And I really have got to say, the giveaway is his hands, which are slightly arthritic, and if you look at his eyes. But if you were to see him without those, he would be in his 60s.
What's his sister like? She also.
Well, she's lovely. Her skin's also amazing. Isn't
Yeah, and
she?
she's only 4 years younger than him. So.
And she, you know, when I met her, I mean, I've met her a few times just at a presentation, but when she came and sat at our table when we went down to the 12 Apostles, and Environ had just changed RAD like a year and a half, 2 years before that, and they had to change it because they had to change an ingredient because of distribution, because it's distributed to 80 countries around the world, and one of the ingredients they had to change, but the whole RAD kind of, it changed, it had a funny smell to it, it was a different thing, everything. And so I just popped it into conversation there and said, you know, for me it's hugely disappointing because it was one of my biggest retail products was RAD. And she said, well, why don't I know about this? And I said, well, I don't know, I mean, and whenever I tell Kate, she always says, Emma, put it in writing, and I hate typing. I used to do that in ships all the time, typing. So I'm like, oh, okay. And then I never get around to doing it. Anyway, so I got back from Cape Town and was happy at work, and I got a message from Kate going, did you, I can only think it was you, talk to Val Carstens at the event about RAD? I said, I did. She went, I knew it was you. She wants an email from you. And they sent me 2 new formulations of the RAD. Both still work great. It was the smell.
A lot of people say that.
It's the smell that's changed, but the RAD is still amazing, and it's still, you know, but it has an unusual smell now. But for me, that is something that I was just blown away by, because just talking to, I mean, obviously, you know, that pretty much the owners, and to have that much care is phenomenal when they are a worldwide skin brand, and how much attention they pay to South Africa is just, and South Africans and their own people is phenomenal.
And can I ask you quickly, because I forgot to, Meg asked me the other day and I couldn't answer her. Why, with the RAD, do you like pat it and not rub it? Into
Most
the skin?
sunscreens you should pat on, because you have a physical barrier then.
Okay, so it's
And like, you know, also a lot of sunscreens have got chemicals in as well. They're there for a reflective barrier. So
to stay on the surface.
yeah,
more than-
I mean, you don't want to look like you've patted it on. You want to obviously have a good coverage. I mean, this morning I'm wearing, it's been discontinued, it's the Alpha Day lotion, and I put it on, and again I just pat everywhere just to make sure I've got, and then because I can see as well if there's any patches, and then I know I've got a good coverage. But yeah, I never really rub. I mean, if you've got a very watery sunscreen, a spray one, you have to kind of rub that in on the rest of your body. But my face, I'm very, especially to get it into my hairline and everything. Yeah. Any other questions before we go through?
Really nice.
have some more.
Top back.
When I'm working.
Okay. Well, come round, I'll pour you a glass of something and then patients will bring everything. Okay. Sure. Sorry, I had it here.
What did you make?
One of those other for life.